let me share my screen. Now, for today's class, we'll be looking at HTML. And what is HTML? HTML, the full meaning is Hypertext Markup Language. I'll be sharing this folder with you guys after the class because for the best knowledge, I've created most of all the codes that you'll be testing or will be using throughout the class. I've taken time to type them out so you can see how they look like. Now, yesterday, like I said, we looked at XD. XD is for designing the layout of your website. And this layout, the only way you can bring it to life is to now write the code that converts that design to proper web pages. And the language that your browser understands is HTML. So, here we'll be looking at introduction to web design. And web design is a process of conceptualizing, planning, and building a collective electronic files that determine the layout, colors, text styles, structure, graphic images, and use of interactive features that deliver pages to your site visitors. Now, if you look at a website, depending on the purpose of that website, will determine the kind of design and the kind of concept and the kind of electronic files that they use. So if we, for instance, YouTube is a website, but because they deal with videos, sharing of videos, and for you that want to watch these videos, you have to really visit the website, search for them. So you see that most of the things that you find there are videos. Now, if you visit a website like GT Bank, Access Bank, because what you want to do there is to transact, you see a lot of forms, text forms, images, very beautiful banners trying to introduce you to different products. So now the people who put this together to make sure that yes, they attract the right customers or they keep the right users on their platform are called web designers. The word designer is deliberate. Why? Because someone has to think through the entire process from who the visitor would likely be, what would they be looking for on the website, and how will they get what they want. Now, languages you must know if you are designing a website. Now there are web designers, there are web developers, and there are programmers. Now, a web designer is a person that designs the interface of the website, what you see on the website. The developers are those that do furthermore than the design. So you log on to a website, you enter your username and password, you submit. That activities that goes behind and determines whether they should tell you you failed, your login failed, or your registration was successful, and all those activities. Those are more of developers. So, but before you can, sorry, I think someone said you're not hearing anything. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I think this person just joined too. Let me just. So, sorry, just a second. Let me respond to someone that can't hear us. Okay, so now to design a website, that's the basic thing that you must know, and this is the key thing that brings the website to life. The language is HTML. CSS enables you to lay out, format, style your website. You'll be understanding more about CSS tomorrow. So the class for tomorrow is more of CSS. Then JavaScript. JavaScript helps you create interaction beyond just looking at the website. Some dynamic activities of the website are done with JavaScript. Now, HTML is hypertext markup language. Web pages read HTML in order to display your website content. So your browser only understands HTML, no matter the programming language that you use, whether you're using Java, PHP, Python. For someone to see whatever program you've written on a website or on a web page, you must render it in HTML. So, and HTML looks similar to what you have on the screen. This is an example of an HTML document. I'll be explaining each and every one of these items. So most time when you visit the website, let me quickly show you what I mean. When you visit the website like this is a website that we're working on, and you want to know the HTML code. If you right click on any website, sorry, let me go to the page. That one is still a what do you call it? That's still a prototype. The XD file is what we're still looking at. That's why we couldn't view anything. But this is the website itself. If I right click on this website, there's always a menu that says view page source of any website you visit. If you go and visit the page source, you see the HTML code that make up that web page. So now, let's say ali.com, site that talks on different items, and if I want to see the source, I click on view page source. I get to see the source code for that website. So this exact this website as it is. So moving forward, let me go back to our presentation. So now, HTML can be edited using any text editor. Any text editor meaning Notepad. You can write HTML code with Notepad. You can write it. There are other editors like Notepad++. There are other editors like Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is popularly known for designing, for writing HTML code. But what we'll be using today is Visual Studio Code. That's the name of the text editor, the one that you downloaded. I didn't list it here. Anyway, this is one of the recent, very lightweight text editor. So, and every web page, every website every web page must be saved as .html or .htm. So what do we mean by that? Remember that any document that you are working with, be it Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, by the time you save a document, they always have their file extension. So a Word document will be .doc, like we have here. An XD file is .xd. A PDF file is .pdf. A PowerPoint file is .pptx. So what we are saying is that an HTML document must be saved as .html. Now, our class work that we did yesterday, this is the folder. I'll be creating another folder here. I'll call it HTML class. Now, what I want to do is to show you a simple example of what we mean. I come here now and I type, hello, everyone. It's simple. What I'm saying is that if you save this file as luabikoye.html, the fact that you've added .html and you change the file type, you remove it from the regular text editor and you save it as .html. Let me go and put this into the HTML class code I just created. If I save this file, by the time I go into this folder, this is the file. I call it lowabiquity.html. You can see that it's no longer a notepad. It's now taking a web browser icon. If I open this file now, it opens on a browser saying, hello, everyone. That is what I just wrote inside that notepad. So the major thing there is for every web page that you'll be creating, you must save the page as .html or you save it as .htm. Both ways work. So let's say I want to start writing my HTML code. We have to use this our Visual Studio Code. That's the software that you install. On your start menu, just look for it. Visual Studio Code. That's the name of the app that you'll be using to write your HTML code. So now, this is the environment. This is how it looks like. Because it's a text editor that is used for different programming language. Those that use JavaScript use it. Those that use Python use it. Those that use PHP use it. You can look at the tools and languages that are supported, and many more languages that are supported by this software. But what we want to use it for is to write our HTML code. So all you just need to do is to click on this first option here, which is the Explorer. That gives you the liberty to see your pages here. But it's always advisable to start with a new file. New file, you want to just start writing your HTML code. So similar to what I just did now, I say hello world. And once you are done typing your hello world, you file, save. It would ask you where do you want to save this file. I created a folder called HTML class, and here I type the name I want to save my page as. I say, for instance, I say class.html. Remember to change this. This is asking you what kind of file are you saving. I say HTML, meaning that I'm working on the HTML document, and I save. So that way, another file comes here, which means that I have two HTML files. One is called class, one is called lowabiquity.html. So I open this as well, and the content of the page displayed. Now, the thing about HTML is that is whatever you type there that appears. Whatever you type appears. So all you just now need to learn is how to write your codes such that they now take the formatting, the alignment, and the arrangement that you want. So let's go back. A web page looks similar to what we just created and saved. So there are some basic things that you must know. For every web page, this top part of a web page. So this is a web page, for instance. This top part where we have the title bar is always referred to as the head, the header part of the website, the head, not header, sorry, head part of the website. Then the main body of the page is called the body. So that's what I am referring to here. So the head and the body. In your head, that is where you can have your title, your meta tags. I will explain what meta tags are. If you have JavaScript or jQuery function that you want to write, you write those ones in the part of the code that is the head. Then all the part of the website that you want people to see, the content, the images, the forms, the frames, and any other plugin that you want, they come into the body of your web page. Now, HTML has simple tags that you must know. You know, earlier I had saved two files. One is lowabiquity, one is class. Let me delete this one. So we're just working with the class.html, which is the second page that we created. HTML is made up of what we call tags. Tags are the elements that describe your website. So a simple HTML tag is what you have on your right. This is just an example. We're still coming to how to take care of that. You can see what I have here. I have H1 and I'm closing it here, H1. So headings in HTML are different sizes. So if I want to write a heading, for instance, I can say H1 and I close the tag. I'll still explain how that tag works. Hello world. And I close the tag, meaning H1. So what I'm saying is that this tag, H1, means something in HTML. And the purpose of having it at the beginning and at the end is to say that whatever effect that this H1 has should only affect this text H1. So another way of writing another tag is H2. I can say H2, and I say this is a content part. I write another tag, say H3, and I say my name is Benga. Now, what I've done with this is to say, oh, H1 should affect hello world. H2 should affect, this is a content part, and H3 should affect my name is Benga. So if I refresh, if I go back to that my class page and I refresh it, now when I'm making updates in my code, I don't have to always go back and reopen the page, because if I have the page open, I can just refresh it. So whatever changes I've made to my code would display. So you can see that there's a difference between hello world. This is a content part. My name is Benga. The first one is bigger than the next one, and the same text after is the next one is also bigger than the one after. Now H1 is a tag for heading. So when I want to write something and I want a particular text to serve as a heading, I put it inside the H1 tag. So that is what tags do. Tags create an effect around a text or an image. So these tags are what we want to learn. There are so many tags. I can tell you that there are hundreds of tags. So your ability to know the basic one, and while you're designing your website, you start mastering other tags. The more tags you know, the more flexible you can lay out your web page. So back to where we were. Now, HTML elements. An element usually consists of a starting tag and an end tag with the content inserted in between. So now, like we just did now, a tag name, the content and the tag name ends it. You see, when you want to start a tag, you start with this less than and greater than sign with the tag name there, stating that I want this content to have the tag name. But where that particular tag ends, you must put a /. That is to tell you that this tag has ended here. And that is what you do for every element. The HTML element is everything from the starting tag to the ending tag. So H1 is a tag, and that's something we've seen. P is another tag. P means paragraph. So now, as we're going through this class, I would share a website with you. It's called W3 School. For anybody that wants to learn is the only most recognized learning platform for web programming language. Now, even my document is an extract of what I've gathered from that website. But the thing is, using this this to learn HTML, you would know all the single tag one after the other if you use W3 School. So my running you through this slide is to introduce you to all the tags that you need to know. There are a whole lot of tags that, yes, you can use to be more creative and the rest on W3 School. W3 School is a web-based tuitioning platform, but there's a way we've downloaded the entire website into a zip file. So if you want to learn any of this programming language from HTML to CSS and all the things that we'll be looking at throughout these 5 days, I would provide you I'll provide a link where you can download this W3 School complete folder, because if you want to be learning through W3 School, it means that you have to be on the internet all through. And for those who are trying to manage data, they might struggle to optimize this platform. But let's go back. That's w3schools.com. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQL, Python, PHP, whatever language you think you want to learn. So sometimes when I'm writing even my PHP code, and I try to remember a code that was used to maybe, let's say, pop up something, and I can't remember, I just come to W3 School. It serves like your library for any of this programming language. So for me, I can try to remember something around date function, for instance, and I can't remember the code. I just come here and type date function. I'll search. It shows me the exact link directly to date function that I can read again, refresh my memory about that particular function. So W3 School is a handy tool. The lawyers always refer to a big library in their office when they need to pick up a certain case. Medical doctors refer to huge repository of medical documents. So this is yours for websites. And let's go back. So like I mentioned, this is the starting tag and the ending tag. You shouldn't forget that. A typical example of how that works is this. There's a tag called B. B is to bolden a text. So let's say I have a sentence here. Let me just pick up a sentence here that we want to use in our HTML code. Let me pick just the first paragraph. And in the whole of this document, I just want a powerful tool to be bold. We've not started looking at typical tags. And please note, one of the things this VS Code does for you is because it already has all the HTML tags predefined inside. So most time when you type a tag, it helps you to open it and close it and gives you the room to type in between. So it makes it easy for you not to make mistakes. That's why I introduced this platform for you. So if I were to write a tag on H1, it opens it and closes it for you and just gives you room to type inside. So you don't have to always remember to close a certain tag. But for instance, I had copied a code somewhere and I want to make B a powerful tool bold. If I save this and go back to my classwork and I refresh, sorry, this is not the class. Let me just open it again. Carefully, you see that a powerful tool is bold. Now, let's assume I started my tag a powerful tool and I decided to end it somewhere around here, which is a powerful tool I'm making dynamic. It means that I want a powerful tool I'm making dynamic bold. If I forget to close my bold tag, what will happen is from that point till the end of the attributes. There's what we call attributes in HTML. Now, these attributes are additional features that come with a particular tag. So for instance, an attribute looks similar to this. P is a tag for paragraph. So if I write, my name is Olumide here. So I think I would create a small notepad that I can save as a class guide. What I want to do with this is you can, like I said, you can find all your tags on W3 School. For every tag I mentioned, I'll just write what they mean here. I mentioned H1, so this is the largest heading, and I mentioned B. B is and then PP is paragraph. We have BR. BR is to break line. I'm writing that down because I'm going to mention it immediately. So now P, if I write a sentence or a statement and I write another one here, James is a man. All I am saying is that they should start on a different paragraph. My name is Olumide is one paragraph, James is a man is another paragraph. So for every time you put P, you have to see this double space. But if I were to write something and I don't want it to really go, I want it to go down, but not a new paragraph. So I can say my name is, and I put BR. So BR does not have a starting and a closing. BR is what we call an empty tag. So there are two types of tag, empty tag and container tag. Container tags are the ones that we've been looking at. They start and they have an ending. BR is just a tag that breaks the line. So it's an empty tag. It doesn't have a starting, doesn't have a beginning. So it means here I say my name is Olumide because I want Olumide to continue on a new line. So that's where I added the break. Now we have other tags like HR. HR is horizontal row. So most time when you're designing a website, you see sometimes at some point in the website, there's this line that goes across the page. I want to draw a more or less like a ruler. I want to draw a line. So HR is used for that. HR horizontal row. Okay, so quickly, we are looking at attributes. So an attribute of a tag is like P is a tag. P is a tag saying that this is a paragraph, and this particular paragraph, I want to say, why is my name in bold? Let's say this is a question. Now, if I want to use some of the attributes of paragraph, P has other attributes. So I'll make sure that before I close the starting tag, I use those attributes there. So one of the attributes for a paragraph is title. Title is like a tooltip. Website or on a link, and you see a text and you move your mouse over it and it gives you this tooltip. That's what that's called a title attribute in any tag. So title can be used with not only paragraph, it can be used with links, it can be used with images, it can be used with any kind of tag that we already have existing. Just the only thing it does is that if you move your mouse over that particular part of your HTML document, whatever you put as the value for title becomes a tooltip. So this is one attribute. Another major attribute is in some cases you can have, there's a tag for font. Now font is when you're referring to you want to style a particular document, or sorry, a particular element. So this font is a tag, and you might want to add its attributes. So for instance, size is an attribute for font. Face is an attribute for font, to say, oh, this font face should be this. This font should have, let's say, size 10. To font might be a bit confusing now. So let me just stick to something a bit close to what we'll be doing, like H1. H1 is a tag. H1 has an attribute like align. For instance, align equals center. So align is an attribute for this tag called H1. And when you refresh, you find it moving this particular heading to the center. So now, there are attributes that are common across multiple tags. There are attributes that can't work with some tags. So these are the things that you'll be learning in W3 School. And I'll be sharing some of these examples when we're creating a web page. So let's go back to our slides. So that's what an attribute looks like. So there's a tag called anchor. The purpose of this A tag is used to link one page to another. So for instance, if I say we had a page I deleted here. Okay, let's just say if I want to say, oh, visit our website. Let's say this page, I want to say click here to visit our website. This click here, I want it to be a link. So that's where that A tag comes in. I say A here and I close the A here. So meaning that I want this click here to be a link. So when I refresh this page, when I get to click here, this click here should link to another page. But click here has an attribute called href. The full meaning is hyperlink reference. So if I wanted to link to alphagalion.org as a website, and I refresh, now you see that the click here has changed color, meaning that this is a link. You know, most time when you visit the website, you see you can easily identify links by moving your mouse over them, or they have a different color, especially with this kind of underline. It will be very easy for you to identify with that part of the page as a link. So if I click here now, it takes me to the AlphaGalion website. Now, this is a tag, but this is an attribute of a tag. A tag has other attributes you can share with it. For instance, the title that we talked about now, we can say click in the title attribute. I can say click here to visit the Galion's website. So let's say that's what I want to write there. So once I move my mouse over there, that title appears saying that click here to visit the Galion's website. So these are the things that you want to get clear. Now, a tag is written as it is, the start and the ending tag. The ending tag has a forward slash, which marks that this is where this particular tag ends, because you might want to use multiple, might want to use a tag multiple times. So how do you identify when the first one has ended? It's by having that forward slash. That's one. Two, when you want to use an attribute inside the starting tag, that is where you add your attribute. You just put a space there. The attribute that you want to use must be known. So another very popular attribute for an anchor tag is alternate. If your link is not showing, what should be the alternative text? So when you write your attribute, like we already did with href, you write the attribute equals the value of the attribute. They must be in a double quote. Once you get this place wrong, there will be a problem with that part of the page. It's either it won't display properly or it won't work as it should. So these are things that we need to pay attention to. So that is that about attributes of a tag. So we had looked at, we want to look at some tags now. We had mentioned, okay, sorry, I haven't written down the A tag. A tag is for, it's called anchor tag, used to link pages. So, but the anchor tag doesn't work without the href. The href determines where you want it to go to. So there you write name of page.html. That's the page you want it to link to. So this is a simple way of aligning that. So we had mentioned HR. HR is an horizontal root. So P, I had mentioned P as well to tell you that P is a paragraph. So you use P that way. BR is to, break line. Now there's this thing in HTML called styles. Style is an attribute that you can use on every tag where you want to style a particular tag. So an example is for the href. Remember, the default color for link is blue. If I create a new link, because I clicked this one before, it becomes purple. So it means that just gives you a sign that, oh, you've clicked that link before. I'm sure a lot of us use Google a lot. So when you're on Google and you look for, let's say we're looking for Lua Bikwe, and you find the person you're looking for, the blue one happens to be a link that you've not clicked. But when you've clicked the link before, the browser keep that history and make it purple. That's just to give you, to make it easy for you to know what you've clicked and what you've not clicked. So if I create a new tag right beneath that other one, and there's something you must know, HTML does not work like Microsoft Word. So while you are writing, everything goes on one line until you have written a tag to move an object, to create a paragraph, or you create a HR, or you create a break line. Everything goes on a straight line. So if I pick this text like I did earlier, as it is, on this web page, you can see that this is the first paragraph, this is the next paragraph, and this is the third paragraph. If I paste that content as it is here, let me just paste it here. HTML does not understand what you mean. Everything would go on a straight line. They keep going. If you type it 1 million times and you save your page, everything will model up each other. So how do you manage this? For every item that you want to work with on your HTML document, you must control it with a tag. So this should be wrapped in a paragraph tag. That's the first one. The next one too is another paragraph. Please always note that your code editor would always want to complete your tag for you. So when you notice it complete a tag where you don't need it to complete it, you just delete it. Then the next one is to P. I haven't downloaded this software. You can as well use Notepad. Notepad, one of the purposes of using Notepad is to write unformatted code. So if I refresh the page now, sorry, there this paragraph ends, this paragraph ends, this paragraph. Okay, so let's scroll up to see that I had a lot of it in the top. Okay, so if I save it this way, you see that they are more aligned. So let's say this is the web page, and I actually want to make somewhere bold. I know that, oh, well, I want this second paragraph to be bold. I put my B tag, and I make sure that where I went the bold to end, I put my ending tag there. That way, I have made that part, just that part bold. Now, for the hyperlink that we're saying, let's say I want someone to click here to learn more. So the A tag, href, here I want to write where I want the page to go to. If you want it to go to another web page within your website, just write the name of the page. Let's say I want it to go to aboutus.html. Aboutus.html is another page. And I say learn more. This way I have made, about us. I've made a tag, learn more, to be clickable. So you see it's blue, like on it. You try a page called aboutus.html. It's saying file not found because I don't have a page like that yet. But when I wanted to link to a different website entirely, I would have to write the entire website address, starting from HTTP. This is how the system will know that, oh, this is an external website. So I say HTTP aledoy.com, I refresh. When I click on this link now, it tries to open Aledoy's website. So that is that around attributes. And now styling, I want to style this particular anchor tag. I want it to have, so I say style. Now style is a CSS code that you're writing in your HTML. Tomorrow we'll be looking at CSS fully. So we won't be spending much time on CSS. But what CSS does is you use it to format, arrange, beautify your element. So if I say this style, I now change the color to red. That way I am telling my system that, well, this particular link should change, should not be the usual blue, it should be red. Another thing that we can do, which is something that we'll be looking at from tomorrow, I can say, well, I want the style, I want it to have a background. I want it to have a background color of, now if you notice as I'm typing, the system is suggesting colors, text, and attributes for me, because it knows all the possible attributes that I will probably need. So when you know an attribute, you can't remember the exact full spelling or the system would always suggest that for you. That's why you're using this particular text editor. So I say I want padding 10. You know, these are just attributes that in CSS tomorrow we'll be looking more into that. You can see I used the CSS to make this text look like a button. I can change the color to white. Maybe this red is looking too sharp. I can change the color of the text to white. Change the color of the background color to white. I can even say, oh, that underline is making it look, it's not making it look like a real button, you know. And I say, this little things that would form our class for CSS tomorrow. So when it comes to designing web pages, HTML is the language that the browser understands. This is something you must know the tags, how to arrange the text, how to bring in image, how to link it page. But CSS actually beautifies the web page. So our HTML continues now. So now you can style by putting color to any tag. So if it were to be the H1 that we're working with, and I wanted to give that particular H1 a blue color, I can do that. If it's a paragraph that I'm working with, so there are multiple paragraphs here. This particular paragraph, I come inside here and style it to say I want this second paragraph to have a color green. So that particular line becomes green. So style helps you to format arrange your HTML elements. So this is also an example. I want to change the font style. I want the font to be larger, so I can make a particular tag have a larger font. So this one that is green, once you write a particular, so this is an attribute. This is a value that you've added to that attribute. If I want to create another value, I put a semicolon to separate one from the other. So if I say font size 25 pixels and I refresh this page, I'm saying that that particular paragraph should be larger than the rest by 25 points. So these are other ways of looking at this. So these are other formatting tags in HTML that you must know. So we have the bold, we have strong. Strong is also like bold. They do the same thing technically. Italics is I. Emphasis is EM tag. So small, mark, delete, insert, subscript, and superscript. You know, when you're writing in Microsoft Word and you want to create like a superscript. Superscript are all those texts that look like raised to power. So if I say, let's say I want to say 10 raised to power 2. 10 raised to power 2. The 2, I want it to be a superscript. So I put it inside this 2. It's also used, it's typically used for things around date. So you can say 10 raised to power 2. So the 2 is smaller at the top. The sub is, you want it to be at the bottom. So if you're writing any kind of content and you want to depict something like this, so those are what the sub and sub does. So the superscript, that's sub, things around date. Today is 20th. So the TH can be inside here, December 2020. Let me put this in a different paragraph so it doesn't look so it looks nicer on the page. If I come back here and refresh, it moves to the next paragraph. 20th December 2020. So these are the kind of thing, that's the kind of tag that you use for that. So if you go to that W3 school, because this is the assignment for today, I would expect that I'll create a simple 5-page website, web pages with HTML, so you can actually see how it works. But I need you guys to understand how all these start tags, end tags work. Now, there's what we call comments in HTML, because sometimes you might be writing your code and you want to leave a comment. So a typical example is, let me show you. Comment is used generally in programming languages, and sometimes I might be working on the website, and I've worked on the website a long time ago. So this is Aledoy. This is a folder. This folder has all the websites I've worked on, at least for the period of like 5 or 6 years. This is about 421 projects. Now, if I go to this Akpata is a school. I designed their website a long time ago, and for some reason they call me that their website is down. They need to really upload it, or they need to make some corrections. And I opened the website, because I would have written so many codes that some of them I might not be sure why I put a particular tag somewhere, a particular tag in another place. The only way I can leave a footnote for myself is to write comments in some areas. And it's also very helpful when you are done with a website and someone else has to work on that website. It's a way of leaving comments down for another developer. So a typical programming language, a typical programming project that you've done so many things, and you don't want to start struggling with those corrections after a while. You have to start seeing you writing comments in one place or or the other. So those comments don't appear on your page. An example is this. If I write a comment here, so this is how we write comments in HTML. You can see that the editor has also made it blue. I can see the code below was added to create a date function. So now this, the code below was added to create a date function would never show on the web page because it's a comment. But when you look at your code, you can always see there. I might have written it to remind myself why this particular part of the page is where it is. Another very, very useful way of doing this is when you have started writing a very complex page, you've written maybe like 100 lines of code, and you're not sure what some particular thing does anymore, or you don't want a situation whereby you confuse yourself. So these are typical example of it. Now, this is a HTML document. My navigation started here, somewhere around here. But because everything I've written from here to here is still under the navigation, at the point where my navigation ended, I don't want to lose track of it. And I added a comment saying navigation. So I know that, oh, this is when navigation ended. Slideshow 4 started here. So this comment just helps me know. So when I've written too many code, then I think that, they might start confusing even me myself, the writer. I use comment to identify where what is what. So here, this is another comment. I'm saying this here is just to demonstrate the callbacks. Now I understand what I had done between this place and this place because I left a comment to remind me of what it is. So those are the kind of things that you need comment for. This is a web page. I'm saying, oh, about us has ended somewhere here. Services started here. So I can know that, oh, this is everything around services started here. Blog started here. In my code, the blog code started here. That's what I mean. And the blog code ended here. So that is what you use comments for. So now HTML has color coding. Our web pages understand basic colors. So when you say red, it understands red. You say green, it understands green. When you say blue, it understands blue. But for the purpose of branding, there are other color codes that the web pages understand. They are in hexadecimal value. So the hexadecimal value for red is this #FF000. Yellow is this, green is this. You don't have to cram them. Usually when you are designing a website, you must have done something in XD. And maybe in your XD, you had used the color. Remember yesterday when we were designing our website prototype. I want to quickly open the XD document. You know that the red we were using was not red. We didn't type red. I picked the red from the color of the logo, the client's logo. Now, if I type red on my web page, the red would now be different from the color on the logo. But if I need the exact color on the logo, you know, while we're picking the color in XD, the hexadecimal value is always displayed. You understand? It's always displayed somewhere in the document. So once you know the color that you want to work with, you just pick the color and put it in your code. So an example, because I've created, I've worked with web pages a lot, so I know some basic color of head. So here I can say style equals color, style equals color. Now, instead of me to write red, I can write FF and 4 zeros. That is red. But there are different shades of red. So how do I differentiate each of these shades if I cannot pick them from the brand material? So some clients, when they give you project to design for them, they'll tell you that our blue is not blue. They'll give you the the color code, that's the hexadecimal value for that blue. So sorry, the XD was loading slow. I had to restart it. Apple, because you know that the XD is a very heavy project, and sometimes it can be slower when you know what you are designing has maybe like 20 to 30 web pages. This color part is very clear. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, so yesterday we were working, because when we start converting this design to HTML, one of the things that you can't put here. So you should also know that some people's specialty are exit. Some people will never convert web pages. In my office, I don't even write HTML codes. I have someone that does his own work. I have someone that his own work is to deal with any design we come up with. He will convert it to HTML. He will just send in the XD file, and so he can't use his own initiative and say, "Oh, this is red," and he goes to type red. No, he has to come and pick the exact color code that this is. So I pick the exact color code and I use it where I think it should be. I think I would even prefer it on this button, because this button ideal for it. So now this is no longer the red, the pure red that we had used before, and it's not as painful in the eyes. And that was why we didn't use red yesterday, because red is too sharp on white. So these are the kind of things that you need to put in mind. So these are different color codes. So HTML understands either you write orange, if you know, if it is pure orange, just write it. If it's pure yellow, just write it. But if it is not exactly yellow, you might need to go and pick the exact hexadecimal value. We had looked at links, which is hyperlinks. The tag for link is A, the A tag. You just put the href attribute to tell the browser which page it should link to. So in this case, what we have is go to next page is the text that will be linked to second.html. So now we have a tag for images when you want to bring in images into your website. Now your browser supports 3 basic images. Recently, they started creating different type of image files, but the most used and acceptable ones for the internet is JPEG, GIF, and PNG. Let the graphic guy worry about which one he wants to use. Most cases, you would always find your images in JPEG. Now, how do you bring in an image to your web page? Bringing in an image to your web page is by using the same tag that we have in this document, which is IMG. IMG is the tag for image. The attribute SRC means source, which you have to type the location of the image. A very simple way to make sure that you don't run into troubles. I always advise, for every image you want to use in your website, make sure that your website and the images are in the same folder. So this is the HTML. This is the folder for my project, which is HTML class. So when I open this, I see all the pages the images that I want. But it's always good to have your images in one folder called images. Let all your images be inside your project folder, but in a folder called images. So if I were to bring in this image into the website, let's say I want to bring in this, my good friend, into the web page. This is the name of the picture, but let me save it to let me say with a name that will be easy to remember. So let's just say k.jpg is the name of the image. So my web page, this is my web page. My picture is inside this folder called images. So when I want to write my code, I just simply say img src, which is the source of the image. I'll now say images / is to say a folder, a directory. Is you are referring to the directory. Now you want to talk on the content, which is k.jpg, which is the image itself. And I close the tag. Image tag is not a container tag, it's an empty tag, meaning that it does not have a starting and an ending. It's just a tag to call image. So if I refresh my page, I see this picture in my web page. This is the original size of the image. So obviously, I need to resize it. So that's where other attributes in images comes in, like width and height. So I can say width equals, I want the width not to be, maybe not more than 100. If I don't put a height, the browser proportionally resizes the image, leaving the width to match the height. If I wanted the height to be 200, and I refresh, sorry, the height becomes 200 and the width resizes proportionally with the height. This is the ideal way to resize images. We're using HTML. But if I'm very certain about the space I want to use, I don't want it to exceed a box of 150 by 200. It means that the image will probably get squashed a bit, but it takes that that size area that you've defined for it, meaning the height should be 200 and the width should be 150. So here is another way you can use the attributes, and these are attributes for images. You can't use height attributes for paragraph. You can't use width attributes for paragraph in HTML. In some cases, we'll see how to use height and width to rearrange a paragraph depending on what we want to do. But those are more detailed usage in CSS. So we're moving next. So like I mentioned, you can resize images, you can add attributes to images, width and height, which we've already seen. This is another attribute called alternative text. So for instance, in a website, for some reason, alt is the attribute. I can say Coyote's profile pics. Usually what happens is Coyote's profile page is an alternative text to this image. If for some reason the image doesn't load well, if sometimes you might be visiting a website with a very slow or crappy internet and the image doesn't load. Let me just scrabble the name of the image. What you now see is the alternative text, which is Coyote's profile picture. So that's what this guy does, the alternate for the image tag. So that I guess that takes care of that area. So now in HTML, we have what we call tables. You probably might be designing a web page and you want to put some data in the table. That is where table comes in. Table is a very, very powerful tool. I can almost say that there's nothing you would do that you would not need a table. But let me just go through, when we get to CSS, we can now see how to really optimize the usage of table in HTML. So by a table comes with a tag called table. So you start your table tag and you end your table tag with the ending. Everything that, all the content of your table must come inside the table. So the first thing here is to look at the table heading and the table data. So we have three tags here. We have TR, we have TH, and we have TD. TH and TR is to define a table row. So I start a row. So this is a row, company name, contact country. This is another row, Alfred Fortaski, Maria Anders, Germany. This is another row, this is another row, this is another table row. So that is how you define it. But for every table row, there's a table data. So for the first table data in this case is company, the next one is contact, the next one is country. You now move to the next row. You start the table data, the next table data, the next table data, you move to the next row. So but in this case, the first TH is table heading. So you first deal with the table heading before you jump to the table data. So how do you write this code? I want to create a table for name, age, and gender. So I start with TR, which is a table header, you know. Then I say TH. I'm sorry, TR is table row, that's the first row. The TH is to say name. The next item on that one is email. You know, the next item is gender. This way, if I refresh my page, I can see they have created the table name, email, gender. The reason why you're not seeing the table properly is because default table border is 0. So if I add a border of 1, I can clearly see how the table looks like. So this is the table. Let me add a couple of break lines after that image so that, so I'm adding multiple break lines, like 3 break lines. BR breaks the line so that you can actually be a bit away from Agboma B1's picture. So name, email, gender. So now I can also set a width for the table. So the table doesn't look too clustered together. And I say 100 pixels. So the table, sorry, I don't want to use too many styles in I don't want to start using so many styles in this guy yet. I want to leave that till we meet in our CSS class. But let me just use style to create the width, just for the purpose of pixels. Guess the it was 100 before, so it didn't show any difference. So let's just move to 300. So that's the table heading. So now if I want to start adding the contents, I'll go down here and add another TR. This is the next row. I'll now start adding TD to say Lua Bikoye as the first item. The second and third could now be Lua Bikoye at yahoo.com. The next one could now be mail. So I'm done with I go to the next one and I say CD again, James Olofin. CD again, James at kinecom.com. And that way, I'm able to draw up a table with 2 records. So this is how you put in a table on your web page. In CSS, we'll be seeing how to create lovely tables. Let me tell you what they use tables for. You might not know, but most time when you visit a website like Yahoo or your Gmail, everything you're seeing, all these things are in the table. They only hid the borders around here, made the line borders the same, and create some form of elements that gives you that feel that when you are moving across this. So if you look carefully how they demarcated this place from this place, they are table-like structure. This arrangement are table-like structure. So the neatness of some layout are usually managed properly using a table. So that is how to use a table. Now, there's what we call lists in HTML. HTML has 2 types of lists. There are like 3 or 4. But the one that you'll be using the most is ordered list and unordered list. Listing is to say, oh, I want to list certain item in my document. So here, I might want to say, let me say H2, list of, or let's just say attendance list. So now, while I'm working on attendance list, there are two types of lists. The tag is UL. UL stands for unordered list, whereas OL stands for ordered list. So these are two different types of tags. So when you now want to create the list itself, you say list, that's LI. So I can tell you that, okay, I want to create a list of Lou. I create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just put different names. So these are the, this is the Coco. This is Winga. This is Bazinga. Bazinga. Yeah. This is Smart. This is Compare. And this is Ruler. So I have an unordered list clearly written this way. So if I come to this, my page, and I refresh, you see the list. Unordered lists are bullets. That's why, so that you easily get it right. Unordered, they are not listed in any ordered manner. So it's a bullet. Now for ordered lists, which is the second one that I had written in the tag, but I've not put the list itself there. So if I copy the same list and put ordered list ends here. You refresh. Ordered list come 1, 2, 3 in numbers. Now, one of the trips about using ordered and unordered list is that you can have an entire list of maybe like 200 items that you created a page for, and for some reason you need to put. If I had written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 manually, the same way you have in Microsoft Word, bullets and number, it will be very difficult if they tell me that no, at number 24, Wazinga comes before Lou. Hey, that means from that 24 till you get to 100, you now have to go and rewrite those numbers. But if I realize that, oh, Coco and Benga should come last, I don't have to rewrite the numbers. The system just maintains the numbers in the list using the ordered list tag. So same thing applies with unordered list. The only difference is that anyone that you put OL. So I must have designed a website and I said I've listed some items and they're in numbers, and the client just say, no, I don't want numbers. Can't you use bullets? Oh, I just know that. Well, I just need to change the OL to UL. So these are the difference between those kind of lists. And this is an example of how to write unordered and ordered list. Same thing. There's what we call iframe. Iframe, we use it a lot when it comes to bringing in a content of another page or another website into your website. We use it a lot with YouTube, Google, and the rest. So let me just do something simple with an iframe. So if I were working on a project and I wanted another website to appear inside my website, I use the iframe. So the same way is source equals, you write the source of the page. So let's say I want to bring in aledoy.com, and that's it. If I refresh this page, aledoy.com tries to load inside this iframe. Can you see it? It's inside this web page. So the same way we manage other attributes, you can now set the width. Say I set the width to, let's say I wanted to take 800 by width and I want the height to be 150. So that way, I can have the page load inside a bigger space. So why do we use iframe? You know, a lot of websites that we design these days, you see a website where they want to bring in a YouTube video inside a web page. So that YouTube video link is what you are plugging into the website. But usually what YouTube does for you is YouTube has further optimized that particular function for you. So if I go here, let's say I want to bring in this Mbappe's video. On YouTube, there's a button called share. It will now ask you, where do you want to share it? Facebook. I want to embed. So that is what we just did. Embedding is that I want to embed this inside my web page. Do you understand? So if I copy this code now and I put it inside that part of the page, you see it comes with a width of 560, a height of 315. The source, just like we had for the Allegro, the source is the link to the YouTube video. Other attributes tell you that, okay, take out the banner, allow full screen if the person wants to go into full screen mode. So if I go back to my classwork and I refresh, you see that video just sits inside my web page, meaning that I can just, rather than go to YouTube, I can watch the video in this classwork web page. So another example of using this is also the map. I'm sure when you visit some website, a lot of websites these days, when you go to their contact us page, they like to bring in the Google Map geolocation of their office, so that if you are coming to look for them, you would have a clear picture of where their office is. So for an office like let's see whether jazz matters. Let's say we are looking for an address, Arnold bus stop, Ikorodu. To describe this space for a particular client, and I intend to use this address. Google also has the share function. You always choose the embed, meaning that you want to embed that part of the code on your website. You can see that they all come in iframe. So this is what iframe does. It gives you the liberty to plug in a particular website features, or display a particular website inside your website. So if I refresh this page, did I? No, I didn't save this one. Sorry, I didn't copy it properly. Embed, let me copy the HTML. So what that does is that one also comes with its width and height. The reason why I'm emphasizing on the width and height is if you actually want to increase the width or increase the height, you can do that. You can do that from your HTML document. So now this particular map is dropped into the area where we want to display on our web page. So the next thing we want to look at is forms. Forms is a critical part of a web page. Even though for a web designer, he can only create the forms and do some basic programming with the forms. He's only a very advanced developer that knows how to manipulate form fields and all that. But at least at the end of our training, we should be able to create a simple form that submits information, maybe to an email or something. So now, to create a form, the tag that you use to create the form is called the form tag. So your form must sit inside a tag called forms. So let's go further down. I come here, put a couple of VR. A form, right? And I close the form here. So now the elements of a form, which are the things that we need to look at clearly, is text field. This is called a text field. This is called a radio button. This is called a submit button. This is called the text area. These are called checkboxes. So when you want to retrieve data from a visitor of your website, I'm sure those who, when you wanted to download the software, the link took you to a page where you have to enter your email and password. So these are input tags in HTML. So we'll look at them quickly so that we don't waste too much time, and I can create a proper HTML document using everything that I've discussed throughout this session while you watch me do that. So HTML forms, the input tag, the type is called text. This type is called a text. So when I create a tag and I say input tag text, so now here I've written a first name. There's a BR saying that, okay, take the input tag to the next line, another BR, take the last name to the next line, and all that. So that is what we've done there. So if I want you to write your first name, I do BR, and I want you to input type text. Now, input type text is the tag that you need in capturing a text. I like to name it, let's say F name. Why? I'll tell you the reason why we're naming it, but just know that you must name the tag for the purpose of identifying it much later in maybe your other code on the next page. I put another BR. So this way, if I refresh my page, you can clearly see at the bottom your first name and the text field. Now, I want to create last name. Last name, I put another BR, and I put input type text. I say name. Let's say I call this one last name, L name. Put another BR. That way, I have created two fields for first name and last name. So in our next slide, we'll be looking at using username and password. Now, because password field does not give you the liberty to type inside. So here you can type and see what you're typing. Here, last name, you can type and see what you're typing. Before, let me put multiple BRs here so that a form doesn't look too close. But for a password, so let me quickly add username. Let's say BR. Put another input type text name. Sorry. Password, because I want to retrieve a password. So now here the input type is not text, it's password. So that singular difference in the attribute helps to change the control that is displayed to the user. So here, once I enter first name, last name, username, password does not display because the attribute type is password. Let me have a double BR after each control so that they don't look too close to one above them. Hey, this is looking neater. So first name, last name, username, password. Now, let's move to the next one. So for a button, you use input type submit, value submit. Now, input type, now you will see carefully that all our tags that we've been using has been input type, but the type determines what display. So this one is submit. I'm saying I want this to be a submit function, but the value, that's input type submit, create a button. The value is register. So register is what shows on the button. So if I say first name, last name, so whatever I enter here, so if I were to create a login page and the button I want it to be a login. So login should be the caption. That's what will show on the button. So register register is the caption that displays on this one at the moment. So let's just move fast. Now we have radio button. So the same way, radio button, input type radio. We've done text, we've done what do you call it? Password, we've done submit. We also have reset for a button. Let me show you. Reset is that I can say I want this button to be side by side. So I'm not going to put any BR here. I call this one reset. And maybe in reset, I write cancel. So what that means is this button, there's one is register, one is reset. So if I type, and I click register, it tries to submit the form. Do you understand? Now, if I type, and I click cancel, it cancels, it clears everything that I've typed. Maybe there's a mistake, I want to refill the form. So that's what reset does. We have email type too. Email type, what that does is to, let's say after first name, last name, we add email. Then the email, the type is email. Email too is the type. So what that does is, if you fill the form and you try to submit, and what you type inside email is not a proper email address, it tries not to go. It tells you that please include @ in the email address. It's missing an @ so that you don't just submit something that doesn't look like an email. Sorry, just a second. I'll switch my AirPods. Hello. Hello. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right, let me continue. Okay, so that's what this register does. And let me go to the next. So we have radio button, we have check boxes, we have let's look at radio button and check boxes. Radio button, just like its name implies, you use it to select options. So I can quickly do gender. I want the person to choose whether he's a male or a female. So I put input type radio. Let me just name it gender so that we can use gender to identify it. I can say value is, this one is male. So in front of it, I can say male. Yeah. So the purpose of this value is, if this is the one that the person select, male should be, or let's say M should be the value. So I just duplicate that, same gender, I call the second one F, and I say female. So what this does is it creates two radio buttons. 1, 2. So if I click on this one, click on the other one, that one unchecks, and this one. So this gives you the liberty to choose options. Technically, let me put a BR here. Okay. So that way, I'm only adding BR to create more breaks to give spacing among the form. So, you know, I'm sure a lot of you will see that checkbox. It always appear anytime they want to force you to agree on a term and condition. So let's just use similar approach. I say checkbox, name, agree, value. Let's say yes is the value. So I say I agree that I agree to the terms and condition. So, and you know, most time, if you've not read the terms and condition, this agree to the terms and condition could be a link. So let's just play with that too. I say here href equals. So that tries to link to maybe a document. It could even be a PDF document somewhere on the internet. Let's say I want them to read, let's just say terms and condition. let's just say I wanted to read this particular terms and condition before this particular one that's online. I just copy this entire link on the URL, just copy it, go to my code, paste it in my href. No matter how long it is, it will link to that page. And I refresh my class page. And I see I agree to the terms and condition. I check before we submit. So now, something I didn't mention, which is also very important, is in HTML. Before now, HTML never used to have that function, but now they've added it from HTML5. It's called, there's an attribute called required. So the same way email is a type, you can add an attribute called required. Just type required. What you are telling the system is that the person must fill this particular form, this particular field before he can submit. So all the fields that are composed, I can put required, maybe in front of the field, I can say, put an asterisk sign so that they know that, oh, this field is, these fields are compulsory. Even the email too is compulsory. I put required. Even that checkbox, I can put required there, meaning that if you fill out the form and you don't check this box, you can't submit. So it means that if I try to submit now, it tells me fill this form. I fill everything. I check the one I want here and I try to submit. It said, oh, I didn't enter my email properly. I do that and I try to submit. Tell me, please check this box if you want to proceed. So this singular action helps you force your users to fill the necessary field before they proceed. Where they proceed to is a subject of another time. But for now, let's focus on designing these pages. So that's those are check boxes. We now have what we call the select options, where you have to work with a drop down, especially in the cases where you want to select through countries, select through states, location, Then I think that's the last item here. Quickly, let me just add, let's say we want to add, let me put 2 BRs here. Let's say choose your country. And I write select. So the select tag is to create the drop down option. So each option will sit in its own tag called option. So I say Nigeria, let's say we just want to give room for 3 or 4 countries. Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. So what we've done here is to say we add country as part of the field. Choose your country, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. But what the system does, it usually displays the first one as default. So what we always do is to say option. The first option should be maybe choose one. So that saves you the stress. But in a case where you're filling a form in Nigeria and the people who build the website know that by default Nigeria should be, there are rare cases where they just put the country drop down for you to select from, and you've written all the countries, especially drop down is always nice to have all the countries in alphabetical order, which is a lot of work. So if Nigeria has to be the default, would you want to now move Nigeria to the top and confuse people who passes Nigeria? You can just leave them as they are. And the one that should be default, there's an attribute you add to it called selected. That way, Ghana, because I made Ghana selected, Ghana becomes default. So if I'm filling the form, so a lot of programmers, what they do is they program the website to know your location and choose your country as your default. So you don't have to, unless you're currently not in your country and you want to choose your country. It happens when you visit very big multinational websites. They try to drill down to the website of your country because they have a lot of subdomains or sub-websites for different countries. So because you don't know all the countries in the world and there's a lot of work, you can always find HTML, select, sorry, HTML select option for countries. So I'm sure you just find a website that they've listed. You can see this one, they've listed everything for you in HTML. Your own is just going to carry the code as they've pasted it here. Option value Afghanistan, blah blah, Algeria, American side, Samao, Burundi, and they are all here. So it will take you like forever to type all this. All you just need to do is select all this. I hope we won't be looking for another one. I'm sure the number won't come with it. Let me first paste it in a notepad. I've forgotten about this guy. So all the countries are neatly arranged. So I just paste them here. Shikena. So it means that on my website, once they visit, when you get to country, you can see all the countries you want to select from. So the same way I just did countries, they are states. Whether you're doing Nigeria, whether you're doing Ghana, whether you're doing, so you can imagine the kind of work that a lot of countries have put in place, where if you select a country, the country will programmatically go and look for all the states in that particular country. Now choose the state, now programmatically go and put all the local governments in that state. So these are things that involve more deep programming, but we'll discuss that. I'm not saying I'm showing you that because I can only do that with something like PHP, which is a different programming language entirely. At the moment, for understanding how tags and everything work, this brings us to the end of the part 1 of today's class. We'll continue after I take a couple of questions and answer. But before then, I will ask my own questions first. So I'll unmute everybody's volume and I can ask my questions. So question 1 says, what does HTML stand for? Who can remember?
Hello.
Hello, sir.
My name is Sunday Awunchekwa.
Okay.
Your HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language.
Markup language. Okay, that's correct.
Markup language, yes.
That's correct. So now, which is the correct HTML element for the largest heading?
Option C. Option B.
Option A, B, C, D.
A.
Okay, A, that's fine. Okay, so what's the correct HTML element for inserting a break? One want to break line.
B.
Okay, B. Yeah, B.
Salam.
Okay, so what is the correct hypertext link? Creating a hyperlink. Which of these options appears to be the correct one?
D.
D.
Yes.
Yeah, D.
That's correct.
H.
So how can you make a numbered list? Which of these tags is for doing a numbered list?
O-L. A.
D.
Fantastic.
Ordered list.
Okay, so that's the end of our first phase. What we'll be doing in the second phase is I'll be creating a website, a simple website of 5 pages with everything that we've learned so far. Now remember that for you to master HTML, you have to go to that W3 school and read from there. I promise, I think we've saved all the pages of that website somewhere. So I think I can share the W3 school file after today's class. So let me just note that down so I know the things that I'm sharing for today. Should be true. W3. Okay, so that's I will share these slides and all the examples. As usual, we share the video. So that's that. So far, any questions?
I want to remind you that what we did yesterday, we never shared the file of the video and the study remote.
For yesterday, let me mute everybody so I can hear you well. Okay, I can hear you. You said yesterday. Hello? Hello, Oga Benjamin.
Yeah, I wasn't the one speaking. I just raised up my hand.
Oh, sorry.
Should I?
Okay, so yeah, you go ahead. I'll find out who was talking.
Okay. I have 2 questions. First, sorry for
Alright.
coming late to class, but I think I still enjoy most part of it.
Okay.
My first question is the country selection, the country drop down.
Okay.
When you had to go and copy the already prepared drop down,
Yeah.
you know, after copying it,
Yep.
can I still edit it to put
Yes.
to add the input select for my preferred country to show first?
Yes. Option selected. Yes, you can.
I can still add it.
Yes.
On the one I
So now
copied.
let's say everything you
Nigeria.
this is the one that we
copied.
we copied out. So I'll just scroll to Nigeria here, and I just add the selected. You know, the option is that you just add selected.
Okay.
So by the time we go back to the page, you see Nigeria will be the default.
Okay. My second question.
Okay.
The input for when you have for form for password.
Okay.
Automatically it doesn't display.
Yes.
But now we see test pages that have an extra button that said display password, view password, that you want to view it to confirm what you have typed.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
That part is not HTML. That one now is JavaScript they use in creating that effect. Yeah. I'll be very happy to teach everybody beyond this 5 days class. I can assure you. This is something I'm passionate about. So training is something that I do. You understand? Now, if we do well with this HTML class, we can agree on another day, organize things around JavaScript. You know, is how you improve.
Yes.
Determine. So if you get this now, you already know how to do that. You call me one day and say, Lou, I created a small website. That thing that if I want to click this, you know, these are things that since you know HTML, I can refer you to document. Okay, say an example here. See what I did here. And so those ones, I'll be available for any form of mentorship or hand-holding. So don't worry. Anything that we don't cover now, and you know that you see and you want to be able to achieve it, so long you understand this class, these 5 days, and you have started using it, trust me, all those ones are more. Now one day picking the crawl, they walk. So we'll get there.
Thank you, sir. I'm
All right,
okay.
Yeah. Okay, Oga John.
Yes, you know, initially, good afternoon. Is it morning, first of all?
Yeah.
First of all, I had a little problem joining the class in time.
Okay.
So before I was able to join the class, I missed out the place where you created the HTML file with the notepad.
Okay.
So because of that, I couldn't really follow much of what you were doing because I have my computer in front of me and I'm trying to replicate what you did, and it's not really. And I don't know, is there any way you can send those files instead of the way you sent it? Maybe compress it more and send through WhatsApp or even that Telegram instead of going through that other way.
To send you the video through Telegram, I can send you the files. Muyiwa, are you here? Let me WhatsApp, because WhatsApp does not have space. Muyiwa.
Okay.
Yeah,
Muyiwa,
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
So I just want to be sure Muyiwa is here. So Muyiwa would forward on Telegram, would prepare the videos. We'll send you the videos via Telegram. Then the thing why we weren't using WhatsApp was because the first day, the early trainings we were having were 20 minutes, 30 minutes, less than an hour. So the files were not too heavy. So WhatsApp accepts them. Because we exceed a lot of this time, so it doesn't, transferring to WhatsApp became difficult. So that's why I create those links for you guys to download. Now, those links, those examples, it would be nice to download on your system. You understand? The video you can forward through Telegram as well. Because those other files, like the software, cannot come into your phone. So that's why. But for the videos, yes, we'll send it to you through Telegram. I'll send even the previous ones that we've done. Yes. Telegram.
Okay.
So for the example that you say you missed, aside from watching the video, it would be nice to just watch. You can be trying, like you said. I'm going to redo all these things again with proper web page. This one, I'm touching all the elements so that you guys can understand the elements. So this second part, in another 30 minutes, I'll create 5 web pages. I'll link them together. I'll use this form properly. I'll put image properly so that you can see how it is done. So I'm going to start all over again. Use a proper logo. Use a proper heading. Arrange the page so that you can now see all these things that we've touched in a clear video.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Yes, sir. That's Sunday, sir.
Yes, sir. Actually, my last brother has spoke on behalf of what I wanted to ask.
Okay.
I wanted to see if those videos can be sent into our mailbox. It's more safer, that we can access it
because
anywhere.
of the file size. It's because of the file size. So you just have to follow the link and download them. But I'll think of a flex. At least the video, we should send it through Telegram, because if you can download the video on your phone and all that, it will save you a lot of stress.
Okay. Actually, I'm not. My system is not really updated yet. So where I'm receiving this lecture now is in my car, via my phone. So everything I'm actually jotting it down. Since you say you are going to send it through what's it called? Telegram. We'll be expecting it, sir.
All right, no problem. I'll send the video. Yesterday's one was prepared. I sent it to the secretary of our committee yesterday. So I'm sure he will forward. I'll remind him to forward that yesterday's video. Actually, yesterday was day 1 of the website. Every other video that we've done, I'll just tell him to forward them and title them well, so that you don't spend time downloading a video that you might not be interested in.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, sir. So any other question before we move on? All right. So let me just quickly move to the next page. Okay, so quickly, I want to design a simple HTML website. Now, so that you don't mix everything. Until we know how to use CSS, we can't design a website like this. We can't design a website like our XD file. So it's after we've learned how to use CSS, that is when we can now design a website similar to what we have here. But for now, you need to understand HTML. What CSS does is it beautifies whatever you are doing in HTML. HTML is the core is what the web page understands. CSS beautifies the page. So everything we've learned today, I want to now use it to design a simple. It's 2004-5. CSS was not existing that time. So most websites used to look like what we have on my screen at the moment. So that's the kind of website we are doing now. Say, before CSS, how does websites look like? So I'll quickly start with clearing my folder. So this is today's classwork. I'll take this out and deleting everything here. So I want to work with some basic pictures. So I want to move them into this my classwork folder. I'm just going to move some from an existing website that I've done. Okay, I think that's okay. Yeah, this would serve. Sorry. Okay, so I think we'll work with one, 2, 3, 4. Plus the logo. 6. Okay, so we want to design a website for a company called Adbella, and quickly using HTML. So this is a blank folder. So our HTML class is a blank folder. So I start afresh, new. So new, this is a new file. And the first thing about HTML that you must understand, because while we're running through the slides, I mentioned it, is that every HTML document starts with the tag HTML and ends with the tag HTML. So let me save this file while we continue. Because when you don't save your file, your system will not know the codes that it will be supporting you with. So I save this as index.html. Now, another very important thing you must know is that for any website you are designing, the file that you want the server to identify as the home page must be named index.html. So your home page must be named index.html. So I save index.html. Then your first thing first is to define your head tag. These are the things that you must do first. So your title is to say at Bella Promotional Website. Now, remember at the beginning of the slide, I was telling you that your page, so I want to open the index file. So the page is still blank, but if you look closely here, you see that the title bar says at Bella Promotional Website. So that's what I use this title to do. You use the title to define what should appear on the title bar. And what's the purpose? When you are visiting multiple websites, you can easily, on your browser, you can easily identify the website that you are visiting by the title bar. So it's the title bar that lets you know, oh, this is the Aledore website. Oh, this is the other website. Oh, this is the PHP website. Oh, this is the, so this is what helps you identify your website. So once you're done with your body, once you're done with your head, that's the head part of your website, you now begin the body. The body of your website is where the content of your website stays. Or every other thing we've learned must be inside the body of your page. So I've refreshed for you to see what I mean. So first thing first, I want to create a website. I need the logo to come in. So our tag for image is image SRC. I say images. Let me go and look at the name I used in saving the logo. So the logo is logo.png, right? So I go back here, I say logo.png, and I close my image tab. That way, I brought in the image to my web page. After the image, I can say, I can add an attribute, say align left. Usually why you align image left is to give room for other attribute to stand by the side. So if I want to write anything here, I can come before it. Let me also see that that works. Yes. So the next tag is in front of the image. So here I can say P. And I close the P to say at, okay, let me go to the next line. Let me just go to the next line. And there's another way I want to do this. So let's say immediately after the image, I add a paragraph. Now this paragraph, I want it to warehouse the menu: home, about us, services, and contact us. Let's say this is how I want my menus to be arranged. Now for the home page, I want a situation whereby if they click on the home page, it brings them to this home page, which is index.html. So I'll write the code down. href equals index.html. And I close it after the A tag. Now this way, I have linked the home page. Say if you click on home page, it should bring you to this page. But I've not linked about us, services, and contact us. So I want to name about us. I'll say ahref equals about us.html. I close this. Ahref equals services.html. I close it at the end of this guy. And here I say href contact us.html. So this means that I've created a link for homepage, about us, services, contact us. And why? If I click on about us, it tells me page not found because I've not created the page. If I click on services, the same thing. If I click on contact us, it's the same thing. So that way, I'm done with my menu. Then the next thing, I want to bring in this image. This image will serve as the banner, this services picture. I want to use that as my banner. So I say img src. Sorry, the picture is inside the folder images. So before you put the file name, that way, if I refresh this page now, what I see is home, services, contact us. Let me use a smaller one. Let me use the about us picture. Now let me get another one. Let me just get something else. But I want to leave the about us to serve its own purpose. I just need another picture. Okay, so let me use brand history. I take this out. I use brand history. So the name of this file is brandhistory.jpg. I just replace this one, brandhistory.jpg. Why I'm changing it, I don't want the picture to be too big. I don't want it to overshadow the page. So now, then the next thing is after the logo, I come below and I'll say H1 and say welcome to our website. So clearly, what that does is to create a big header that says welcome to our website. So now I want to bring in another image. src, and the image would be this guy, this vision, whatever. So I say images, that's the name of the picture, and the picture stays there. So I might want to say this picture should align right. HTML supports align right. If it doesn't, we'll have to use style. So it aligns to the right. Why do we have that? So that I can have a small write-up here. Now let me just go and pick a write-up on another website. Any at abellahng.com. I hope the website is still open. It's one of our old project. I just want to pick up a small write-up here. Okay, so let's say I want the vision statement to be the write-up on the homepage. You know, so you see, it's something similar that we did here, where the let's use the mission statement as it is, as the write-up. So here I put a paragraph, but the image and everything will be inside the same paragraph because the image is in line with the text. So the text, the image is only aligned right. So let's just see how this looks like on our new design. Okay, so it should come after the image, only that the image is aligned right, so everything sits properly. Now, this mission statement, I can give it a H2, so it's not as big as the H1 that we had set for the page heading. So these are the things that you see. The page, remember when we're doing X yesterday, remember I mentioned something about you should avoid your page starting from the edge. You know, these are the kind of things that we suffered when we were designing with HTML. But by the time we learn CSS tomorrow, we'll see how to manage all these things. So now the mission statement, the entire is in a list. If you look at the benchmark, it's in a list. Now this list is what we want to replicate here. We want to first increase the size of this image. So there's a tag called font. Let's say I increase the font size to 18. Let me first see that 18 is very, very large. Okay, another option is to say +2. So +2 is that it should just be a little bit larger than the initial size. Then we can now make everything inside here a bullet. Yes, a bullet, and unordered list. So the unordered list starts and ends here. But each of the bullets that we want to identify, this is one. This is another one. It ends here. This is another one that ends here. This is another one. Another one that ends here. This is another one that ends here. So that way, we've been able to at least replicate something similar to what we have on this page. Don't worry about every other thing here. When we learn CSS, we'll see how to play with this one. But this one that is sliding is actually HTML. I didn't mention it. It's called Mackie. There's a tool called Mackie. It allows you to, it enables the scrolling of a text from left to right. So if I say Mackie like this, it's QU. Yeah, and I say they use it a lot for breaking news. When you watch news, when you look at news websites, you see. So what happens is the text just starts scrolling from left to right. So what we have done is to put some client logos in an image and put them inside the marquee so that they scroll from left to right. So let's just put a link here at the end of our bullet and numbering and say, let's put a link that leads us to the About Us page, About Us.html, and I say learn more. So if I do this and click on learn more, it tries to take us to the same About Us that this guy links to. So that way, let's just say we're done with the homepage. So now I want to create another page called About Us.html. Now, in order not to start writing your codes from beginning to the end, I create a new file, another blank file. I copy all the codes in the index. I highlight everything and Ctrl+C. I come to this one and say Ctrl+V. I paste and first save it as About Us.html. Now I can now change this title to say about Bella promotion now, or about Bella. So that's the About Us page. Then instead of me to say welcome to our website, that's what we had here. And I'll say About Us. Now, instead of me to use this same brand history image, I try to change it to another one, which is the About Us image. So now because I've created a layout of the homepage, I'm only just replicating the content. Then instead of me to now use mission, vision, and all this English that's written here, I can remove all this mission, vision, all this font size, remove all this marquee. I know that, okay, my About Us content will start here. So the About Us will look something like this. So if I click on About Us now, so the About Us has changed, the logo the picture here has changed, the text has changed. I'm only waiting for the image, the text to wrap around it. So let me just go to About Us on this website to pick up content. So let's say this is the content I want to use for About Us for this website. I highlight everything. I go to my HTML. I put them here. But remember, sometimes your text, when you're typing in this code editor, the text keep going to the right. So you can always, I think there's something called word wrap. This toggle word wrap, it helps you manage your text so that they don't keep going into the right side of your screen. So now, this who we are is what we had as About Us. I can just do H2. Right, this what to do, H2. So that those headings become clear. But remember, I told you that HTML does not have respect for new line. If you don't create the break line itself, see this page. This is one paragraph, this is another paragraph, this is one paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph, fourth paragraph. But our own has just one paragraph and another paragraph because we didn't use paragraph to separate them. So here you have to put a P to say that, okay, this is the first paragraph, this is the second, this is where it ends, this is another paragraph, it ends here, there's another paragraph, it ends here, there's another paragraph. So it's because I'm copying and pasting the text, that's why I just adding the paragraph. If you were writing your text, well, there's definitely no way you'll be writing your text while you're designing your website, because you must have your content ready. All you're just doing is, once you're pasting the content on the page, you'll be formatting accordingly. So now this is clearer and better. Let's just say we're done with page 2. So we go to services, which is the third page, and I'm trying to look at which of the elements that's very important that we've not touched. page. Okay, so let's do the same thing. You highlight everything, you say new, paste it, save this one as services. Sorry, I didn't save that one well with the right thing. So let me rename it as services. Now, you know your web pages. Once you're done with your project and you open it, you know it will always open in the web page. It won't open in your editor again. So the only way you can open it in your editor is to right click. Is to right click the file and open with. So you select the editor so that the code can display. That's while you're making corrections on your web page. So the title for this one, I say services, you know, or I can say better service offerings. So this page, we can say, well, we just want to create a list of services. Let me see what they have on their services page. Okay, so it's similar. They just have an image by the right and the services by the left. So let's just pick the content as the eye here. But remember that we are going to format accordingly. So you see my text is scrolling to left and right. I want to be able to see them in one screen. So I go back to this view and toggle or use alternate Z on your keyboard. So this services, sorry, I wanted to start here. Yes, I want it to be inside. So I change this header to services. Then all I want to do is to say, oh, this guy should be bold. You remember the tag for being bold is B. And this one can be, there can be a BR here. But all this P, this one from here to here is one paragraph. So from here to here is another paragraph. I'm only making the header bold. And I'm adding a BR so that it looks neat. And same thing here. This is another paragraph. Sorry. It ends here. And this is bold. With a BR. So that way we have our home page, we have our about us page, we have our services page. Okay, we need to change the image for services. So we'll just pick another image in our image folder. Let's choose our work for services. So the image that we have here is what is changing. So you refresh, so we have home, about us, services, you read about the services, you read about us, you read about home. So the last thing is the contact us. And the contact us, we just play with the form parts and the table. Yes, I want to play with the form and the table together so that you see how we can use them. So now, and we'll use the frame as well. Now, another thing that I didn't remember to mention, you know, some images are usually clickable. Like this image now, let's say I wanted to click to the home page back. Do you understand? Oh, this is the home page. I want this one to click to, let's say, the contact us page. So that image itself, that's on the index page. I want to go and look for that image. This is the image. This is the code for the image. So before and after the image, I will add my a tag href equals, I'll state where I want it to go, which is contactus.html. And I make sure that it closes at the end of the image. That way, this image is now clickable. So if I click on it, it takes me to contact us page. So we're here to create a contact us page. So I take this, I say new, I paste it, I save this new page, and I call it contact us. So now I can just make the changes. Contact us at Bella. The image on the banner, I change it to the contact us image. And you know, the caption for the page is contact us. Then instead of me to have my page is looking, I want to have my contact address and my form standing side by side. So I can use a table to do that. So in my table, my first TD, which is where I want to have the first attribute. Then the second TD, which is where I want to have, the second content. So here I want to have send us a message. I want this one to be H3. I want this one to be H3 too. My address. Yeah. So this way I've created a table on my contact us page where address is in one side, send us is in one side. Remember that the table, by default, the borders are always hidden. So if I show the border, I'll hide it back because I don't need the border to show. This is what the table is. So how do I optimize this table? This is exactly what we do. I set the width to, let's say 80%. I want the table to take 80% of the page. What that does is it now expands. My address can be on one side, my send us a message can be in the other side. I can further say align table, align center. That way, this table falls in the center of the page. So now I can quickly create my address. Let me just go and copy contact address here. So I can say phone number. So all these ones are icons. We can pick up icons from 5 icons and bring in the images like we did in our what do you call it? Other training. So I can say address is 19 Oni Street, Sule, put a BR here, then I say Lagos. So that goes to the next line. So I can put a 2 BR after the address so that the phone number can fall next. I put a BR here because these ones are hotlines. I can just put a BR, so it just appears 2 BRs here, 1 BR here, that way. So this way my page appears similar to, you can see the address, number 19 on the street, phone number, email address, all by the left side. Then let's say I want to add, at the end of the table, let's say I want to add that Google map to this address. So I just map Google, paste the address there, search. So let's say this is the address I want to use. I can just share, copy the embedded code, copy, and paste that where I want it to appear. So the width is 600, but I can change the width to 100%. Why is that? I want this bottom part, the address should take the entire footer screen. So the width is 100%. It takes the whole width area the web page. So I don't want it to touch my table. So maybe before I do that, I can put it inside a paragraph. That way there will be some form of margin between the table and the map. So there's a small adjustment. So send us a message. I will quickly come here and say, now another thing I wanted to mention, input type. There is a value called placeholder. Input type equals text. Placeholder is the text that appears inside your full name. Placeholder is an attribute of the text field that appears inside your text field. So let me put a BR, maybe 2 BRs. So it looks similar to this. So you can see enter your name appears inside the text field. So I don't need to write enter your name outside the text field. I do the same for the next text field, email and phone number. So email address, phone. So that way the field looks similar to enter your name, email, phone number. Then I want to put a text field for the person to type a message. We didn't talk about text field in our initial slide. The text field is called a text area. Text area. Text area, you now enter the amount of rows. Rows are y-axis, how many fields can, like the height. So if I say 10 rows, and I say width, columns, I say 40 columns. Let me give it a name, say message. I close text area here. So inside text area, I can write enter your message. Let's see how that looks. Let's see how that looks. So now you have enter full name, email address, phone number, and enter a message as the last item. So now we can include a button. Button is input. So let me just put a double BR here. So I can say input type equal submit value send now. For instance, let's just say that's the value of the submit button. So that's that. For HTML, though with CSS we do a lot of coloring the button, coloring the text field and all that. But for HTML, you can also do something called size for text field. If I put 40, I'm saying it should make the text field longer. So you can see how the text field is appearing. We can do the same thing for the remaining field. There's also an attribute for text field that's called max length. Max length. If I put 10 here, it means that the maximum amount of characters you can type there is 10 characters. So sometimes when you want to put a restriction to the amount of things somebody can do. So I'm typing, but it's not exceeding a certain number. So that's what that max 10 does. We use it to control, in some cases, they use it to control username, password. When somebody is trying to create a password in the platform, I don't want him to put more than a certain character, you can fix the field. iPhone ATM does not use more than 4 PIN code. So if somebody is filling a form and he needs to enter a 4 PIN code and you don't want them to type anything more than 4, you know, these are the kind of items you use to put controls there. So let's say the max character here is 30. You know, even though the size of the text field is larger. So now that I'm satisfied with how this looks, I can hide my table border by making it 0. So that way, the purpose of my table is to create a synergy some item on the left, some item on the right. It's just that control. And you know, my Google Calendar appears at the bottom. So this is a simple, these are how website used to be some 15, 20 years ago. It is interesting to know that as of 2001, I started designing websites like this. So I'm like a veteran in this space. Home About Us services, contact us. So this is a simple website that we've done with HTML. So this would serve as the end of today's class. I'll share this video and all the materials as we've agreed. I remember someone mentioning that the video should come in Telegram. That I would also make sure it happens especially for yesterday and today's video. But for your assignment, please, it's important that you note these three things. One, sorry, let me open a new notepad. That way we can be very sure that we are aligned. Try as much as possible to read. I'll send you the W3 school. So read, you can do that. You can rest and do that within an hour or two. With the understanding of everything I put you through, you can completely read that HTML on W3 school within a day or two, maybe a couple of hours. Read HTML in w3schools.com. You know, try and watch this video again, and I would like you to do your own 4-page website. This is a 4-page website. Do your own 4-page website. Don't use Adbella logo. You can use another logo, maybe a company logo that you find on the internet, or your own company logo that you have. It's too big. Remember that you can resize your image. And I would like you to replicate this Adbella example. So I'll send you the classwork. I would also upload the classwork for you to download. But just do your own different page. This is the important part. This is the important part of the assignment. If you can do that, 1 page, 2 page, make sure that the link, make sure that you can put an image inside your web page, because what we'll be doing tomorrow morning, CSS is very, very interesting. That's where the beauty of these websites and everything is. But if you've not passed through this stage, we'll probably struggle assimilating what we want to do tomorrow with CSS. So we'll start our first 10-15 minutes reviewing anybody that has done this, and I'll see how we can motivate the person. So thank you very much. I'll mute all the volumes down so that we can take questions. All right, so questions asked. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, let me just mute everybody. This is Oga. Is this Oga Sunday? You want to ask the question?
No, I'm okay.
Hello?
Oh, no question.
Okay. I can hear you, Oga John.
Okay. I'm still a bit confused about the studio codes. How you able to get that HTML page and all those things. I hope it's explained in the initial part of the video, so that when I go through the video, I can be able to understand it.
Yes, it was. But so because you're asking again, let me quickly do that one more time. I'll rather sort that out.
Okay.
Now the thing is, let me close the window. Start all over again. So I open a blank editor. Open a blank editor. Let me close this. So this is a blank editor. All you just need to do is file new, a new file. So you write your, you write your HTML code or whatever code that you're writing. Then you save it, file save. When you want to save it, make sure that you're saving with.
How do you write the code?
Huh?
How do you write the code? That is where the confusion is.
No, you write the code here now. You type the code here.
I just type HTML there.
Yes, you start with HTML. The video explains that, the next thing after HTML is to type your head. Okay, maybe if you watch the video from the beginning, you would understand what codes we are typing, what the codes are doing, before you now create your first HTML page. Because all you just need to do is
that
to
was
say,
what I was asking.
okay. And if you can just call me, we can discuss that one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sir.
Let me watch it. Let me watch the video from the beginning first.
All right. No problem. If you can't reach me, did you say Muyiwa's number yesterday?
I think so.
The number. Okay. I'll just I'll paste Muyiwa's number. Let me write it again on the screen. Muyiwa. So can you? Okay, let me use a notepad because it's clearer that way. Muyiwa's number is 081 332 55577. Have you noticed it, sir?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so in case you try to call me and I'm not picking, you can always call Muyiwa. He's also in this class. He's my support facilitator.
Okay. All right.
All right, sir.
Okay.
So, any other question?
That will be all.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I hope we'll be able to push our assignment. It applies to everybody. Call me, call Muyiwa if you need clarity anywhere. So I'll make sure that the video gets out in the next 15-20 minutes max, and will be shared on Telegram immediately. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.